February 19th, 2026, Milan, Italy. A 20-year-old girl finishes a 4-minute routine on the ice. 7 triple jumps, not one mistake. The music stops. For a moment, she just stands there, chest heaving, arms still raised. Then she skates toward the exit, and the second her blades leave the ice, she lets out a scream so raw, so unfiltered, that the broadcast engineers have to scramble to bring the audio down. She is laughing. She is shaking. She grabs her coach and just holds on. The score flashes, 226.79, a career best. Alysa Liu has just won Olympic gold, the first American woman to win an individual figure skating title in 24 years. But here's the part of this story that almost nobody remembers in this moment of celebration. 4 years earlier, almost to the week, this exact same girl posted 11 words on Instagram that shocked the entire sport. "I'm retiring from figure skating. I have no regrets." She was 16 years old. She had just come back from her first Olympics. She had just won a world championship medal. She was, by every measure, still rising. And she walked away anyway. No injury forced her out. No scandal. No one pushed her. She simply left. She packed up her locker, stopped checking her training schedule, and at some point over the following 2 years, she genuinely lost track of where her own skates were. So here's the question I want to sit with tonight, my friend. How does a girl, built from the age of 5 to be a perfect jumping machine, find the courage to just stop? And what does it take to come back, 2 years later, not as the machine she used to be, but as herself? Hello, my friend. It's good to have you here. Come sit with me for a while. This is the story of Alysa Liu, and what happens when you finally get to choose your own path. To understand why Alysa needed to leave, my friend, you first have to understand the world she was built inside of. And that story doesn't start with her. It starts with her father. Arthur Liu was a graduate student in Guangzhou, China in 1989, when he joined the pro-democracy protests that would end in the Tiananmen Square crackdown. When the crackdown came, Arthur became a wanted man. He escaped through a secret network known as Operation Yellowbird, smuggled first to Hong Kong, then eventually to the United States as a political refugee. He arrived in Oakland, California at 25 years old with almost nothing. He worked as a busboy at a Chinese restaurant in Berkeley. Slowly, methodically, he rebuilt his entire life from scratch. An MBA, then a law degree, until he became a practicing attorney. Arthur Liu understood, better than almost anyone, what it meant to survive through sheer discipline. He was also, it turned out, a massive fan of figure skating, of legends like Michelle Kwan. So when his energetic 5-year-old daughter needed an outlet, he brought her to the Oakland Ice Center, just a block from City Hall. The coaches noticed something immediately. This wasn't just a talented child. This was something else entirely. And Arthur, a man who had rebuilt an entire life through relentless discipline, applied that exact same discipline to his daughter's skating. He tracked every practice. He hired the best coaches money could find. He reportedly wore disguises to the rink just to watch her train from the stands without distracting her. At 12 years old, Alysa became the youngest skater in history to land a triple axel in international competition. At 13, she broke a record held by Tara Lipinski to become the youngest U.S. national champion ever. A year later, she became the first woman in the world to land a quadruple Lutz and a triple axel in the very same program. On paper, Alysa Liu was flawless, unstoppable, a perfect machine built exactly as intended. But my friend, machines don't get tired. People do. By 2022, the world expected Alysa to bring home Olympic glory. She was 16. She skated cleanly at the Beijing Games, finishing 7th. A month later, she won bronze at the World Championships, the first American woman to reach that podium since 2016. She was, by every external measure, at the peak of her powers. And then, on April 9th, 2022, she posted those 11 words. And quit. Fans were stunned. Commentators searched for an explanation, an injury, a falling out, something dramatic. But the truth, my friend, was quieter and far more human than that. She wasn't hurt. She was tired. Tired of a life reduced to rinks, hotel rooms, and the number on a scale. She felt she had kept her end of the bargain. She had made it to the Olympics, just as her father had dreamed for her. Now she wanted something that had never really been hers, an ordinary life. For the next 2 years, Alysa Liu simply disappeared from the sports world. She enrolled at UCLA to study psychology. She spent time with her 4 younger siblings. She trekked with her best friend to the Mount Everest base camp, over 17,000 feet above sea level, breathing air that didn't smell like an ice rink. She wasn't just taking a break, my friend. She let it go completely. She genuinely lost track of where her own skates were. For the first time since she was 5 years old, she wasn't Alysa Liu, the prodigy. She was just Alysa. And for the first time in a long time, she was happy. But elite athletes, my friend, have a complicated relationship with the fire inside them. It doesn't go out. It just goes quiet. In early 2024, Alysa went skiing with friends. Flying down the slope, wind in her face, she felt something she hadn't felt in 2 years. That same electric rush she used to chase on the ice. She went to a local rink, almost as an experiment. She laced up a pair of borrowed skates. Without any warm-up, without any plan, she threw herself into a double axel. She landed it, on the very first try. 2 years of rest hadn't weakened her body. They had healed it. She called her old coach, Philip Di Guglielmo, to tell him she wanted to come back. But this time, my friend, there was a condition, and it's the most important detail in this entire story. Alysa told her father, the man who had built her entire career from the ground up, that this time he would not be involved. Not as her manager, not as the one making decisions. She told him, in her own words, that he was no longer part of the team. Imagine that conversation, my friend. Telling the person who sacrificed everything for you that the very thing that made you great, his relentless involvement, was the thing you now needed to walk away from just to come back on your own terms. She set her own rules for this second chance. She picked her own music. She helped design her own programs. And she said something that would later go viral around the world. I get to pick my own program music. I get to help with the creative process of the program. If I feel like I'm skating too much, I'll back down. If I feel like I'm not skating enough, I'll ramp it up. No one's going to starve me or tell me what I can and can't eat. Around this same time, in her final year of homeschooling, Alysa realized she had 145 unfinished assignments. She sought an evaluation and discovered she had ADHD. Suddenly, so much of her life made sense. The restlessness, the need for novelty, the way silence and stillness had always felt like a cage. She didn't hide this discovery. She spoke about it openly and became, almost by accident, a role model for young people who saw a piece of themselves in her. For the first time in her life, my friend, nothing about Alysa Liu was being managed. It was simply hers.
Many experts doubted her. In figure skating, a 2-year break is usually a career's ending, not its second act. But a healed body and a liberated mind turned out to be a combination nobody had accounted for. At the 2025 World Championships in Boston, Alysa Liu won gold, the first American woman to claim that title in 19 years. And then came Milan. Going into the free skate at the 2026 Winter Olympics, Alysa sat in third place. To win, she needed something close to perfect. She skated third to last, to Donna Summer's MacArthur Park, in a shimmering gold dress. She landed 7 triple jumps, not one mistake. While her competitors fought for every fraction of a point, Alysa looked like she was having the time of her life, dancing on the ice rather than fighting it. When her score appeared, 226.79, the arena erupted. 24 years after Sarah Hughes, an American woman stood atop the Olympic podium once again. Days earlier, she had already won gold in the team event, making her the first U.S. woman to win 2 gold medals at a single Winter Olympics. She had done it entirely, completely, on her own terms. 3 weeks later, thousands of people packed the streets of downtown Oakland. Alysa stood in front of City Hall, just 1 block from the rink where it all began, as the mayor placed a key to the city in her hands. In the months that followed, her life spilled far beyond the world of skating. Magazine covers, a Louis Vuitton partnership, a music video, an ESPY award. The girl who once lost track of her own skates was suddenly everywhere. But if you ask Alysa, my friend, she'll tell you none of that was ever the real prize. The real victory happened quietly, in a phone call to her father, 2 years before any of this. When a girl who had spent her whole life being told exactly who to be finally decided for herself. Sometimes, my friend, walking away isn't weakness. It's the bravest thing a person can do. And round 2 was never about fixing what came before. It was about finally choosing it for herself. Thank you for walking through this story with me tonight, my friend. If Alysa's journey touched something in you, leave a comment below. Tell me, what would your round 2 look like? Until next time, take care of yourself.